1, 2, 3, SCA!
Okay, we're continuing to work through our blue belt curriculum. So the throw we're looking at tonight is the Osoto Gari, big outside reap. So the traditional way to hit this is I start with a deep penetration step to the side. My grips, this one on the sleeve, it's important. I'm aiming for the back of the elbow so I can lift up. This grip, it's in this nice spot here in under the shoulder. When I step across with this grip, this is pushing up and into him. Now this could get a little bit rough sometimes in a judo match. It's almost a bit of a little cuff under the jaw. It's part of the game. But I am stepping in and across, driving through, because I want to load all his weight on this leg. And it's very important that I penetrate and get through and get him leaning back. If I don't step deep enough and I hook this leg, I'm off balance, I'm going to get thrown. So I'm going to step through, penetrate, drive him onto this leg, and then this leg is going to come down and through and back. So when I put that together, I step in and through, and I drive him through. Knee comes down to the hip. He's going to rotate through. I block his hip so that he can't turn back into me. Okay? That's a great throw. And that setup works beautifully in an instructional video. In real life, he's gonna not easily let you just step in. He's gonna be stiff arming me. He's gonna be reactive. So first things first, if I want to set up and I want his weight on that foot, I can step and pull this way. His reaction is to pull back. So when I step and pull and he drives back, that's when I follow him in and throw him. So setting it up is vital. As with all of these throws, they actually work best when we chain them together. So an example of setting this up from another throw would be any turning position where I'm pulling him up and into me. I'm going for a high here. His defense is going to be to brace up and back. That's how he's going to defend that technique and not get thrown by it. So as I come here and I put here and he braces backwards, all I need to do is plant this foot, pivot on this one, and then drive through with my Osoto Gari. So that setup can come off of any throw, say unagi, hip throws, anything where I'm turning into him, where his tendency is to brace back. As he braces back, I just plant, pivot, throw. On the ground, we decided to look tonight at one of our sweeps. So it's a basic sweep, and it's one of those sweeps, it's on our blue belt curriculum, and it's one of those sweeps, a lot of people get taught it, they learn it in an early class, works for them a couple of times against someone else new, they move up, training with people at a higher level, oh, it stopped working. Oh, it's a beginner's technique, I'm not going to do it. In reality, this is a really powerful technique that I went away from and came back to. And I find I'm not necessarily setting up, start through finish, but I'll be in a position from a scramble or from open guard where I can switch into it. So this is my scissor sweep. And this is going to rely on, first things first, getting a good grip. This is not a good grip. I don't really have much control over his posture. He's just going to posture out of it. What I want to do is get my choke grip, my deep grip. I'm looking for the lapel. I'm controlling him down. I'm going for this choke. He doesn't want that choke. So he starts defending that, which gives me the space. I'm going to cat's paw this grip here, and I am going to relax and rotate my hips, and my knee is going to come up right up into his chest. I'm now pulling with my hand, pushing with my knee. See his face? Doesn't like it. Now this hand is going to rip this like I'm rip starting a lawnmower, Important thing here, I turn my wrist over like I'm looking at a watch. That's my mental cue. It makes me turn my head to this side, turn this wrist. If I'm pulling here, strength against strength. If I go here, I can really get this rip out. So I'm looking at my watch, I drop this to the ground, I pull him and push him for the sweep. From here, I slide back into my grapevine position. Sliding back, keeping this grip here. This allows me to either switch off straight into my choke, or the technique that we looked at today is switching off to an Americana. When I go for my Americana from here, I'm going to release this grip, come and grip over his wrist. I'm looking for a bit of hand and a bit of wrist. I get my grip into a figure four. My weight is going to come off to the other side as I pull this in. I pull everything in nice and tight. My butt comes off like I'm hanging off a bike around a corner. I bring his elbow down towards my knee, and then I start adding the lift to get the tap. It's a very important point. When his elbow's up here, 90 degrees and higher, there's a lot of rotation. When I pull it down to here, there's a lot less rotation. When I pull it down to here, but also suck everything in and tighten it up, there's virtually no rotation. So that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing it down and in. Another point, I'm showing this with space so you can see my hands. When I'm actually doing this technique, my head comes right down to my arm. So that as I'm putting this in, if he bucks, if I'm up and he bucks, I'm landing, I'm punching myself in the face, there's movement. If I'm already down and tight, as he bucks and moves, he's got a solid object that he's trying to move. Okay? Two other things I want to show. So first is a variation on the sweep. The second is a variation on the Americana. So the variation on the sweep is, I'm going for this. As I'm going for this, you can see his knees are quite close together. If he sits and his knees are sitting out, it's sometimes pretty hard to get, I've got to get his weight up and over the center point of his balance. That's going to be hard with his knee out here. What I do, if their knee is pointing out, I come past it and I push that knee down. And that's how we deal with that. I come up here, I'm going for my Americana. He defends by tucking his head inside. It's a common defense. I now can't bring his head away from his shoulder. So he's got all this rotation. Very hard for me to finish. What I'm going to do, I swap my hands. See, my thumb is in the palm of his hand. I'm holding the blade of his hand here. My left hand is going to go up into his armpit. My head pushes his head away, and I slide this down for the tap. This technique was taught to me by an instructor that I worked with down in Mexico, who's actually a Belgian guy by the name of Christophe de Ferme. As far as any of us could work out, he kind of invented this technique. All of us that know him refer to it as the Belgian. You know, Americana, Belgian guy's variation is the Belgian. I'm sure there's other gyms that it's been used other places with other names, but that's what we know it by in memory of Christophe, who's a fantastic black belt working out of Leon, Mexico. So our techniques that are on the curriculum that we've seen tonight, that Osoto Gari throw, it's one of our key throws. The scissor sweep, it's one of our key sweeps from the guard. And the Americana, the basic Americana, is one of our key submissions from the mount or the side mount position. So that's another 3 techniques that we've learned tonight off the curriculum. Thanks for helping me out. Great training.
Oh.